Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and I just got another issue of the LEGO Ninjago Magazine. Now, I know in my last magazine video I said that might be the last one because I was having issues importing these into the US with everything that's changed with US imports recently, but luckily, fingers crossed, I figured out a way to keep getting the magazines. The magazine videos might be a little later than they normally are. This one is later, but that's just because I was out of the country for fan media days. But yeah, even with future issues, they may not be as prompt as they used to be, even though those weren't super prompt either because it took 2 weeks to get here. However, this one did arrive without issues, so as long as that keeps happening, I will be able to continue making these videos. So yeah, fingers crossed that that can keep happening, because I do enjoy making these, and I also enjoy collecting the magazine. It would be a real shame if I couldn't collect the magazine anymore. But anyway, with that being said, let's take a look at the magazine itself. This month's issue comes with a Nokt minifigure, which is pretty cool to get. Nokt does come in 3 different sets, so he's not like the rarest minifigure ever, but all the sets are somewhat big, with the cheapest being $70, I think. So if you're a fan of Dragons Rising, obviously, Nokt is a pretty significant character in both Season 2 and Season 3. So if you're buying on a bit more of a budget, or you just didn't like any of the other sets that Nokt came in, it's awesome to have another way to get him. But we'll talk about him more at the end of this video when I actually build the minifigure. For now, let's take a full look at the cover of the magazine. Here's the full cover with the minifigure removed. It says, "Amazing LEGO toy, major villain Nokt." That's a funny way to describe him, but sure, yeah, I guess he is a major villain. LEGO toy, mighty mean, powerful villain Nokt. Season check, the ultimate guide to Dragons Rising. Magic mischief, can the ninja find their sneaky enemies? And as always, we have a thrilling 12-page comic and some wicked posters. So let's get started and see what it has in store. LEGO Batman magazine ad? Sure. Okay, and awesome. This month, the villain of the month is Zarked, the absolute best member of the Forbidden Five. Good luck to anyone who comes across Zark. As the master of misfortune, he has nothing but evil in his mind. His creepy cage helmet and his red-hot energy beam also make him really dangerous. I love how they don't even attempt to describe what the element of misfortune does. They just call him the master of misfortune and describe his red-hot energy beam, which, yeah, that's all we saw in the show. He shot red beams. That's really funny. They didn't even make an attempt here. As always, there's the Meanometer to rank how mean you think that Zarked is. And they're encouraging you to build a creature for Zarked. So, yeah, if you guys want to build a Zarked creature, go ahead. Not a creature, but I did build a Zarked mech last month. If you haven't checked out that video, go watch it. I built mechs for all of the Forbidden Five, and they turned out pretty cool in my opinion. Some of my favorite ones that I've done. Anyway, turning to the page, we should have the bio page on the minifigure. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Nokt, the Master of Brute Force, is a really sinister character, and not just because of his dark outfit. The list of his villainous deeds is also wicked. Find out more here. Number 1, Devastation. With his mighty Shatterspin, Nokt caused no end of chaos. Number 2, Dragon Agony. He eliminated the Dragon Matriarch in cold blood and stole her crown of horns. That was pretty evil of him. Number 3, Greed. He ruthlessly seized all the elemental powers at the Tournament of Sources. Number 4, Prisoner Release. He used the powers united in him to free the remaining 4 gangsters. That's a very funny way to describe the Forbidden Five. Gangsters. Number 5, Attack. In the first realm, he infected the Dragonians and turned them into the underlings of the Forbidden Five. Number 6, Theft. Nokt forcibly snatched the prismatic blade from Pixel in order to free Thunderfang. Number 7, Vengeance. Because Lord Araz used the chip to control Nokt during the Tournament of Sources, he wanted to take his revenge on the tiger creature. Aaron prevented any further damage. And of course, Nokt is saying his iconic quote, "And no mercy for nobody." And also, you don't have a chance, and now you're finished. Here's a little puzzle where you have to figure out which of the parts goes to which member of the Forbidden Five. They're all sort of merged together here. Then turning the page again. Oh, this is interesting. You have to crack a code at the top there, and there's 9 different games you have to play to get it. That's actually pretty impressive. They packed a lot in here. If you guys want to zoom in and see more details about each of the games yourself, feel free. But I really love how much content they packed in here quite tightly. In some other magazines, like one of these games would take up an entire page. Turning the page again, we have a Brawl Among Buddies between Frack and Aaron here. And this is a game where you just go back and forth rolling dice, and you have to try to get every number 2 through 6. You can't take a number that your opponent already has. However, if you roll a 1, you can take away one of their numbers. It's cute. It's the kind of thing I could definitely see myself playing with my friends when I was little. Then we have the coloring page here, Double Flame, and here you could color in Kai and Wildfire, I guess, sort of design suits for them, and show them using their elemental powers and how that's different. That's cute. And then we are at the comic. As always with the comics, I'm not going to read the entire thing to you guys, but feel free to pause the video and read it for yourself. And if anything's especially funny or interesting, I will stop and point it out. This one is called The Big Cleanup, and it takes place between Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 1 and Season 3 Part 2, which is a nice, time period to set it in. We don't have a ton of details about what was happening then, so I'm curious about what's going to happen. Though it literally is about the Ninja cleaning up the city, so I don't know how interesting it's going to get. Apparently, Thunderfang Shatterstorm has caused chaos even in Ninjago City. It reached that far. People are trapped, buildings are destroyed, and Kai's using the climber mech to help out. Oh, and the City of Stiix is here, so I guess in theory that confirms that the City of Stiix is still around after the merge. It is important to note these comics are not canon. They're meant to, go with canon, so theoretically, if nothing in the show contradicts this, you can consider this canon, but they do get things wrong every now and then, so City of Stiix may not actually be around. It would be really cool if it was, though. That's a location we have not seen since Season 5, right? I think it was in Day of the Departed as well, maybe? It's been a while since I've watched that stuff. But yeah, it would be awesome to see in Dragons Rising. Oh, okay, never mind. It's becoming a Gondolaria story. They go to Gondolaria land, and uh-oh, one of her flutes has been stolen, so now they gotta save the magic flute. Gondolaria is easily my least favorite part of Dragons Rising. I love, a lot of the new changes they made to the Ninjago world in Dragons Rising. I think the merge is super cool. I love so many of the new characters. Gondolaria, though, I don't love the humor associated with her. I don't really love what she means for the lore. I don't like having just ultra all-powerful character, but she's just a little weird, so her powers aren't actually, that useful a lot of the time. I feel like she's had way too much screen time, so Gondolaria comic, not super exciting, but we're not done yet. Let's see where it goes. Okay, we're not going too heavy into the Gondolaria stuff. Instead, we're going to Creel's junkyard, because somehow the flute ended up there. By the way, Creel Creel's had an interesting week, to say the least. I guess I'm not going to go into it here, but if you've been on Twitter or been on the LEGO Kids app, something was revealed about Creel that's a little odd, I guess, to say the least, so it's very funny seeing her here. She is a character I like. I like Creel as a character. Not my favorite, but she's fine. She's good. So not a huge fan of what's been going on with her as of recent. But anyway, Rapton apparently stole the flute, so now we're going to see Rapton. I feel like this comic's all over the place, and it's already halfway done. But of course, now is the break in the comic, and here we have Operation Fruit Salad. And you have to divide all these fruits into 6 equal portions, as well as count the total number of each of them. Then we have the posters in the middle, and already this one looks very interesting. Ooh, yeah, I love this. I've never seen the magazine do this before, but this is like a minifigure collector sheet. This is showing every single villain minifigure from the Ninjago Dragons Rising sets. And what's interesting is they're actually color-coded by the season of the show that they appear in, not when they released. So we have all the Imperium characters at the top right here, which are of course Dragons Rising Season 1. And most of those are from the very first wave, but we have Dorama and Dr. Leroux here as well from the Ninjago City workshops. So it's awesome to see them up there with the characters they go with, even though they just came out this year. Then we have the Season 2 Part 1 characters in dark blue, all of those make sense. Season 2 Part 2 in this lighter blue, and that even includes the Temple Guard and Nokt, which I guess is kind of a spoiler, but they are definitely villains, and they did appear in Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 2. And then in red we have 3 Part 1, again, moving some of the minifigures around because Kerr and Rox are included in 3 Part 1, even though they didn't come out until the 3 Part 2 sets. But yeah, of course, all the Forbidden 5 appeared in the show at the same time. Theoretically, I guess they could have put Nokt with the 2 Part 2 characters, but it makes sense to have all the Forbidden 5 together. And finally, we end off with 3 Part 2, and that's just the Spectral Dragonians. Yeah, this is awesome. I would love to see them do more things like this. It's a very different take on the posters they normally do, right? It's not meant to, necessarily look super cool and just be a display piece. For kids especially, this is great that you can, collect all the minifigures and line them up. And I don't think I have any of these guys immediately on me, but this looks pretty much to scale. Okay, it's a little bit bigger. But again, I always, think back to when I was a kid, right? I could imagine getting this magazine and lining up all my minifigures with where they go. I think that's super cool. But of course, as always, it is a double-sided poster. And on the other side, we have Kai on fire. And this is just an official photograph of the Kai bike set, but with some motion blur on it, some fire, and this really cool, Kai illustration in the background. I'm usually not a fan of when they use official set images and edit them, but this honestly looks pretty good. It does feel very stylized despite being a literal photograph, and the background is amazing. I really, really like what they did with that Kai face. So yeah, this is another pretty good poster, but this is awesome especially. I really want to see more of this. Seeing this for the heroes would be great, though it might need a bigger poster. Back to the magazine, we have Sora Sounds. Sora is listening to her favorite song. Suddenly her headphones go haywire and sound is no longer reproduced correctly. You gotta figure out the order of these to make this song. And then we have the road to Rontu. Dude, if this is Rontu, I do not want to take that road. Turning the page, we are now back to the comic. Kind of funny how many ninja are on this mission. It's everyone except for Aaron and Sora. Right, because Aaron and Sora are with Lord Raz at this point in the story. And Zane and Pixel have left, so it's literally all of the ninja. Typically in these comics, they pick out 2 or 3 to go on the mission and the rest are doing something else. But no, to chase down Rapton, they need literally everybody. Even with Gondolaria's help. Anyway, Rapton's and Creel's back. They're chasing him down, taking out the freebooters. It is what it is. Okay, Wildfire lands on Ryu. Ryu takes out the Rapton mech. Sure. And Rapton tries to get away, but uh-oh, the other ninja are waiting for him, and they get the flute back for Gondolaria. Yeah, I don't know. It was a fine comic. I like this time period, at least. It feels like there is stories to be told here. I could believe this actually did happen in universe. Always love seeing more Rapton. Always do not love seeing more Gondolaria. Don't have super strong feelings about this comic one way or another, though. It was alright. And that's the end of the comic, but that is not the end of the magazine, because first we have The Realm Roamer. And this is all about Jay, it looks like, all the way from Dragon's Rising Season 1 to Season 3. And of course, we don't really know everything about Jay and what happened to him. There's a lot written here, so I'm going to read through it myself real quick, and when I notice anything significant, I'll point it out. But I assume it's mostly just going to be recapping the show. Yeah, it is pretty much just a recap of the show. I don't really have anything to add. It does encourage you to build the next chapter of Rogue's story, though. Let's see what's next. The Big Season Check. Learn everything about the finale of Season 3 of Dragon's Rising here. So, something about these magazines, they're written in German originally and translated into English. So, that's a line they wrote. I don't even want to... I don't think I can say that out loud on this channel, but... Yep. Yeah, this page is basically just giving you a teaser leading into 3 Part 2, which of course has already aired at this point, so I don't have much to add here either. But as with everything else, if you guys want to read this, feel free to pause and zoom in. Next page is Race to the Bounty, which looks to be a little dice-rolling board game. These are always very fun. This one's a little simpler than some of the others we've seen. Yeah, you roll the dice, you move that many spaces. If you hit a puppet, you have to fight it. If you hit a Dragonian, you have to move back a few spaces. And if you hit a Reveal Blade, you get to go forward an extra 2 spaces. And after that, we have the teaser for next month's comic, which is actually this month's comic. I'm sure a lot of you guys who live in, like, Europe already have this one. But this is going to come with a Spectral Kai minifigure. Now, the minifigure itself, not super interesting because he comes in a $10 set. Good minifigure, just a very easy one to get. However, what I'm more interested in is his weapon, because it comes with the transparent orange katana, which is great to get again, though it has come in a few sets now. What I'm really interested in, though, is this axe blade piece in orange, because that is an existing part, but I believe it's only come in LEGO Botanical sets as, like, flower petals. I don't think it's ever come as an actual axe blade in any set. So seeing it used like a Kai weapon is super, super cool. So I'm really looking forward to getting that one, especially because I don't believe I have any of the Botanical sets that come with it, though I could be wrong about that. So yeah, not the most exciting minifigure, but I'm glad the weapon at least is neat. And as I said, I should be reviewing that one at some point, I don't know when. And finally, we have a little page where you can design your own ninja by cutting out these parts and putting them on top of this guy. That's very funny. You can make like a full Golden Legacy Lloyd, but only like part of Kai. You can give him a polar bear helmet, or Scott's hood, sure. Oh, actually, there's more in the back, I take that back. So there's the rest of Kai's hood, there's another Lloyd outfit, you can make him Dareth, Scott's hood in a different color. And the guy himself can have a different expression, too. Oh, brown ninja mask. That does not actually exist. Neither does the lavender ninja mask. But alright, I think that's everything for the actual magazine, so now let's take a look at the minifigure that it came with. Here's the Nokt minifigure fully put together, and I feel like I've talked about this guy so many times at this point because he came in 3 sets, and I've done also like the every minifigure video for both of those waves as well. So I'll keep it somewhat short, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about him already as well. First though, I guess let's talk about the accessory, because that is unique to this set, right? I think this is slightly different than the one he comes with in the main sets. The accessories are usually one of the highlights of the magazines, because they come with really unique builds that you don't see in main wave sets. For example, that Kai we just looked at that's coming out next month, we would never get a weapon like that in a main wave set. This sword that Nokt has, I mean, it's more interesting than just a katana, but it is still a pretty basic build. I could absolutely see it coming in a set. So it's nice. I mean, it has the green hilt. It fits him, right? All 3 and 5 use the green hilts, but nothing too crazy or special. And then Nokt himself, I love the commitment to the very dark color scheme, right? Using black as the base color, and most of the detailing is dark brown and gray, with these little bits of metallic blue that peek out. Metallic blue is one of my favorite LEGO printing colors. Back in the day, it was very rare to see. These days, it's a little more common, but still, it pops quite nicely against the black. He uses the Legacy Skulkin armor, which I think fits him well, though it would have been really cool if he came with his cape that he had in Dragon's Rising Season 2, and I love the Thunderfang Forbidden 5 symbol that he has on his back. It helps him match with the other 4, and it is just such a great design. With his mask and hat removed, here's a full look at his face print, where again he uses more of that metallic blue, specifically on his eyes, his teeth, and a scar going over one eye. That scar is another very cool detail in this minifigure. And the head itself is dark blue, with regular blue printing on top to be Nokt stripes, and that shows a little bit of his fur texture too. Super cool minifigure, and as I mentioned at the beginning, it's awesome to have a cheaper way to get him. Because while he does come with 3 sets, none of the sets are super cheap, so a $5 to $10 magazine, depending on where you live, is a much better option than like a $70 or $100 set. Obviously, would have preferred Rocks or Kerr, but maybe they could still come in a future magazine, because those two also both only come in expensive sets, but they only come in 1 set as opposed to Nokt's 3, but Nokt is still great to get as well. And so, overall, what were my thoughts on this magazine? It was okay this time around, far from my favorite. Funnily enough, I think the posters were the highlight this time around. I really, really love that, like, minifigure checklist type poster, and I guess it's not technically a checklist because you're not meant to check them off, but just showing, hey, this is every Dragon's Rising villain that you can collect. I think that's amazing. And the Kai poster wasn't bad either. Comic was fine, it was whatever. Activities were pretty action-packed, but I think the activities appeal to the least number of people, right? I feel like most people are probably interested in the minifigure, then either the comic or the posters, and then the activities last. So for people who do the activities, I mean, yeah, that's pretty good. But the magazine has a pretty broad audience, and the activities definitely aim a little bit younger. So I'd say if you don't have Nokt yet, this is a pretty good one to pick up. As I've said, he is a fairly important character who does only come in expensive sets. But if you already have one, you don't need a duplicate. The rest of the magazine isn't good enough unless you really want that poster to, like, really justify getting this. But of course, those are just my thoughts, so let me know what you guys think of this magazine in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel if you're new. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.